feeling today? I am out here enjoying the nice Midwest warmth while we still have it. I'm not going to hold you guys long today. I wanted to talk about a few things. So, essentially, we are in the last quarter of 2025. This is October. In other words, you have roughly 2.5 months to get your financial shit together. Okay? So, this is the time where hiring season starts to slack off. However, you will see a boost in, part-time jobs, contracting jobs. This is the time, especially around, um, business, finance, revenue cycle, especially in the healthcare and medical advertising, um, financial, industries, or rather industry or companies that deal with finance, right? Everybody is trying to get all their ducks in a row, so to speak, for the end of the year. So you'll see a lot of short-term contracts and stuff, um, for that. So I'm trying to make you guys unfuckwithable in the job market. Okay, so now is the time for you to go ahead and revamp your resume. You know where to get that information. If you have questions, let me know. There are things that we can do to help bulletproof you, you know, to to an extent, right? Essentially, there are a few things that you want to do when you are out here in the job market. First of all, you need to know what it is you're good at. What's your skill set? Then you need to know how to amplify those skills. Then you need to know how to make those skills that you just amplified transferable, right? In other words, what other industry can I um, use my skills in and make them profitable, right? Make them attractive for companies, right? So we talk a lot on here about six-figure jobs, six-figure resumes, right? All that information is in my bio. I have the kits ready for you. You guys can book a coaching session with me. We can go over all those tips and tricks. However, I have been getting a lot of messages and emails, saying that you guys want to branch out, you want to do your own thing, you want to start your own jobs, right? So, hey, everybody in the chat. It is so sunny out here. I can't even hardly see. What is this? Hey, the evil guy. Hey, Sub Flash, how you doing? Glad you stopped in. Have you all checked out my page? Have you all checked out my information? It's all in the bio. Um, so today I just wanted to stress with you guys being unfuckwithable, right? At work. So, quick story time. Have a client who had been in her job for 5 months. I'm sorry, 5 years. She's in the tech industry. Um, and mind you, this was over. Well, it was six figures, right? She was making good money, about I think like 120 a year. A sister, you don't see too many of us doing what she's doing. Um, yeah, go ahead, set flash 20. What you know what you guys can do? You guys send me a message and my contact information, and I'll give you 50% off of a one-on-one coaching session with me. How does that sound? Yeah. um, so yeah, she was making good money. She was the only, woman of color on the team. I guess I'll be politically correct. And they had laid her off. And long story short, normally when you're at a job for 5 years, rule of thumb is that you Well, she got about 2.5 weeks. And, when she originally found out, she was banking on that money. She's like, man, they're going to let me go in October. It's going to be the end of the year. I can, you know, take that take that 12 weeks that they're going to give me, you know, before I file unemployment. I'll be good for about, 6 months, right? Well, that didn't happen. So now she's got a new game plan. But this is my point. Just because you think you have job security, you don't. You do not have job security unless it's your own damn company. And even when it's your own damn company, you're still on the grind because you have to make sure that you're going to be financially secure, every year. Especially for those of us that have employees, you know. So I think I shared with you all last time. I run a few businesses outside of the coaching, right? I'm in the coaching space, the healthcare space, also in the transport space. I'm in the wellness space. So there are a lot of a few different avenues that we use, to guarantee our wealth and income. And that's what I need you guys to. Hey, see, I see you, boo. Say I don't know if you heard, but if you haven't checked me out, go ahead and hit me, send me a direct message, my contact information, and I give you 50% off a one-on-one coaching session with me, okay? That's for everybody that's in the live. So, with that being said, that wasn't just something I just, jumped out the box and was like, hey, I want to own my own business. Even though I've always had that entrepreneur spirit, I can play well with others, but, you're not going to talk to me like I'm crazy. And a lot of these jobs, they want to talk to you crazy. They just want to have you under their thumb, and it's like I'm not dealing with that. So I started doing my own thing. You know what I'm saying? I opened a behavioral health clinic. Recently I opened a homemaker services agency. So it's sort of like what home health care agencies do, but we're not we don't have any RNs or LPNs or anything like that. We're the folks that come out and, sit with your loved ones that maybe can't be in the house all day by themselves. They maybe need help bathing, they need help with lunch, meals, stuff like that. So anyway, how I started doing that was I got to a point and I was like, look, these jobs ain't paying me what I'm worth, and I'm tired of going through the same shit. A few years after a few years, you give yourself to these jobs and they're not fucking loyal. So be loyal to yourself. And I'm not saying that in a selfish way. I'm not being selfish at all, because nobody out here is really doing it by themselves. We say, oh well, I got it out the mud. I did this shit by myself. I'm self-made. No, not really, because you always need somebody to help you. Even if it's you getting that bank loan. That loan, right? That underwriting department that said, okay, let's give them that money. They were a part of that. So people may say, and really it's people misspeak when they say that, right? What we need to say is, I really didn't have anybody on my team that I knew that really, believed in me or trusted me, had faith, wanted to see me succeed. It's a few ways you can phrase that. So getting back to my client, she and I were talking, and I basically gave her a blueprint of what she could do. She and her husband, they want to get into transport also. So she booked a session with me and we came up with a game plan. She's like, look, I got X amount of dollars I need to make something happen. Like, what can I do? And I was like, hey, you know, there's always transport, there's always logistics. Listen, this is what I learned during COVID. When shit shut down, when people were being laid off and we were locked up in our homes and we were told it wasn't safe to go out, they told us that you couldn't talk to anybody, couldn't see your loved ones, you know, anything to just keep the vibrations down, keep people from really rising up, right? I learned about supply and demand. I had a cleaning business at the time. When I tell you all, I made more in that cleaning business in a year than I had in the last 5 years. It was in fucking insane. You know why? It was called supply and demand. Now, you know, I'm in the healthcare space. I'm not clinical, but I'm on the operations and finance and IT side, right? By trade, I guess you could say. So I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna do something that I know I can do, and that's, you know, clean houses, right? I had a small cleaning business a long time ago when I was really young, like almost right out of high school. So I had started it up, ironically, like right before vid, and that shit happened, and it was like the few contracts that we had, um, you know, everything had shut down for maybe like 2-3 months. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep putting myself out there. I'm gonna keep advertising. I'm gonna keep calling my clients. And I had one lady, one of my clients, she said, look, I'm cool, but I know somebody else that could use your services. Got me in contact with her referral source, right? That couple then referred me to about 5 other people. Now I had to hire. So I got these contracts and I was like, fuck, I got all these contracts, but I don't have no people. So I started calling and calling and calling. And because a lot of the people that I knew, you know, weren't working, or they were sitting home on that fat unemployment check they was giving out at the time, they was like, yeah, you know, I'll come clean this shit. You know, we was going in there. I mean, we looked like something out of E.T. You know, when a man in them suits came, they had them big white suits on and all those hoods and big old thick gloves and stuff. That's how we looked. But we got money. So this is what I'm telling you guys. Think about supply and demand. Remember your skill set. Don't let anyone tell you what you are not capable of and what you cannot do. I don't give a damn if you've never managed a team before and they say, well, you don't have management experience. Well, you know what I do? I turn it around and I say, well, yes, I do, sir or ma'am. You know, I run a whole household with X amount of children. I have to do such and such and such and such. Budget, meal prep, clean. I take people here and there. That is called project management. Transferable skills. Now, you know, I hope you guys dress that up so where you can put that on a resume. You know, we're not going to be saying on a resume, yeah, I'm the mother or the father of 3 kids. I know all about management. No, that's not going to get you hyped. But you guys get my point, right? Hopefully. Teachers, law enforcement, security, nurses. I don't care if you're an RN or a certified ass wiper, a CNA, a CMA, you know, your LPN. You know, you have transferable management, project management, product management skills. If you need help with that, that's what I'm here for. That's what Coach Coco does. I take people's resumes and I make them into 6-figure resumes that make you stand out. Yes, we make sure that it's ATS optimized and all of that. We do, so in our coaching session, you let me know what job you're looking for, okay? You send me your current resume And then when we meet, we go over your skills, what you're good at, what you think you need improvement on. I'll help you locate and identify transferable skills, and we make you a bomb resume. Okay? Now, this is something else that I want to tell you all um, to look out for those of us that are working remote. So, for example, if you're in California and you have a remote job that's in Louisiana, if for whatever reason you need to file an employment, you'll have to file it in the state that your job is located. So don't waste time with filing a claim in your home state, because that only puts your claim back further. And y'all know some states move slower, than others, especially if you're in a state like Illinois, like me. Anyway, so that's my bit about that. Also wanted to just encourage you guys, don't be taking no bullshit from these people unnecessarily. Go to HR if you need to. Even though HR, we know, is not for the people, if your manager, supervisor is smart and you file that claim, they'll get off your ass. 9 times out of 10. You know what I'm saying? But be aware, when you do that, it's best that you be looking for another job in tandem, because at that point, now you are under a microscope, and these people will find any little thing, to get you out the door. They'll just start doing petty shit, and they'll really start looking at things where nothing exists. So, just wanted to share that with you guys too. So, if you all want more information about the entrepreneurial side, how you can get into transport, how you get into consulting, how you can start teaching, how you can create classes, let me know. I might put a poll up, but let me know. You guys can comment, on the video, or let me know, and then we can schedule something, a one-on-one, and this will be a complimentary class that we do. So I'll put a link up between today and tomorrow evening, and then you guys can sign up for that. Does that sound okay? Because a lot of you guys, need direction. And then there are other things that, we can discuss. Business credit, how to set up your business structure accordingly so that you can get these loans and, lines of credit, business credit cards, things like that. Because it is helpful in a pinch, especially if you lose that main source of income and you kind of need something to fall back on, like an emergency situation, because shit happens, where unless you're, a million, billionaire, 600 something plus thousandaire, we all just living check to check at the end of the day. Most of us are out living check to check. So, but that's okay. We're out here trying to combat that. So, I also wanted to let you guys know that I am going to be posting resources for those of you who want to beef up on their skills. There are a lot of free classes, especially around project management, and AI, that's out here. I can give you all the information to that as well. Because some of you are like, well, hey, I don't know, and I'm not confident, and, maybe if I don't have a degree, and I don't have this, and I don't have that, it's 2025. Hi, it's 2025. You don't need all of that. Depending on, you can't be a doctor with no doctor degree, right? You can't be a lawyer without your law degree. We're not talking about that. A lot of these jobs, they teach you what you need to know. That's what orientation, that's what training is for. If you're in a position where you can get free training, sign up for the free training. Email your manager, include HR if you feel like you need to, and say, hey, you know, I'm looking to improve upon my skills. I'm trying to elevate. I want to be able to get a promotion. I want to be able to get that raise. I want to be able to qualify for this and that. And there are some companies um, that actually respect that. You know, if you're someone that's, if they think that you're trying to improve, right? So yeah, I can definitely post that. Google has a free project management certification. Um, IBM has one as well. I saw that as of recently. You can go on Coursera.com. They have so many classes and certifications. And some of these are like 6 weeks to 6 months, depending on, you know, how much time you put into it. Some people can complete it in 3 months. Some people do it in two. Some people take the six, especially if if you have a job, you know, or you're doing something else, right? So, um, let's see, the Evil Guy, Subflash 20 and Sale. Did you guys have any questions today while we're in here? Hmm? Got any questions about, you know, employment, how to seek employment, um, how to figure out what your transferable skills are, um, what job will be good for you to transfer from, you know. Um, what I'll do is I'll be posting a lot of that information. I also have a community on school. It's a free or complimentary, I should say. It's a complimentary um, membership that you can get. There are a few tiers with there, in the free membership I do post jobs now to get different resumes, because I do have resume templates as well for a lot of jobs that you guys, like to apply for. That is going to be in the paid subscription. I'll post all of that in a couple of days. That'll be something good. And then we're also going to be having, monthly or bi-weekly. We'll see how the first few go. We'll have monthly Zooms that you can sign up for. You'll get the link and the information, and then we can work on a couple of these resumes, in tandem. So you guys hit me up before, and then we can practice. We'll pick a couple, and I can show you what you need to put in there. I can show you how to use ChatGPT to figure things out, not just in the job market, right? So we're going to be doing some new things in this last quarter and going into 2026, because you guys need to really be prepared, and you got to start thinking outside the box, and you got to stop being scared. Stop saying no to what you don't know about. You don't know how many people I've talked to with opportunities, and they say, well, no. And I'm like, so, okay. And I don't push, but I say, so are you okay with saying no to what you don't know about yet? And sometimes they'll still say no, I don't, I'm cool. And then sometimes they'll pause and they're like, oh, well, I guess I didn't think about it like that. Yeah. Keep your mind open. A lot of you guys are out here talking about, oh, Lord help me, Jesus help me. You're praying, and you know what I'm saying. You're doing all of this and that. And you've been at the same job for the last 3 years, bitching about the same damn manager. You guys won't really update your resume correctly. If you do, do it. You won't apply like you should to jobs. You apply to one or two, and then you wait on them, and 3 weeks, they ain't called me back yet. You didn't call one recruiter, left a message, they didn't call you back. Well, I ain't gonna be chasing nobody. Listen, stop making excuses. You have to put yourself out there, right? Listen, that a lot of that book that you all be reading, when it's faith without work is dead. Yes, you guys have to believe in yourself. You have to do the work. You know what I'm saying? You guys have to do the work. The evil guys, Seb Flash 20, Seb, say, make sure you guys contact me so you can get that 50% off code, okay, for that one-on-one um, session. And that's for anybody, you know what I'm saying, that's in the live today. Make sure that you do the same. Like, share, subscribe. Okay, that really helps my algorithm. I'm really trying to get you guys to be unfuckwithable. You know what I'm saying? Going into 2026. Okay, I'm all about uplifting and giving you all information. It's YouTube University. You know what I'm saying? Out here, a lot of shit I have learned just from research on my own, and that's how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. So, I promised I wouldn't keep you guys on here too long. Um, Thanks for tuning in, everybody that came in the chat. I appreciate you. I will be posting more jobs this week. Look out for that group information. I'll make sure to post everything. And you all have an amazing weekend.